How many you've got what, 25 coming?
Says
What my experience class, that it probably the week.
that. After started live of weather because of traffic. Many people are online today, so I will talk now with you, and we know there can be questions from those listening online. So today we have this season last open day for MBA program, and today we will mostly talk about the program. As we start, we have many things to tell today, but as there is a lecture next door for the current one of MBA groups, I will give floor for our professor of today.
Okay, thank you, Nelia. My name is Bill Schaub. I teach in the professional MBA program. I've been teaching for the last 11 or 12 years, risk management, which is organized in the finance. It's a subset of the finance area. And prerequisites for it, it's something you take a little bit later in your MBA studies because you need finance and you need statistics in order to really complete the risk management program the way we look at it. I run the class with a lot of invitations to experts and serious people in the marketplace. And I'll give you an example. And all of you are invited to come to the class. The class is running from 6:15 to 9:15 this evening. At 6:15, we're going to have the head of the legal function at Swedbank. And at 7:30, we're going to have the head of the risk function at SEB Bank. So I try to invite, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, we had the CEO of Indexo Bank. 2 weeks ago, we had the CEO and founder of Ulysses Reinsurance, which is one of the largest reinsurance businesses in the world, with a seat on the Lloyd's Exchange in London. But they've actually started and operate out of Riga and always have for 30 years. But nobody knows it because the reinsurance market's a global market. But when you think about it, it makes total sense. 30 years ago, there was not enough insurance capacity to insure it, almost anything in Latvia. And so you needed the reinsurance markets. So Brit came here, opened up, and actually had very fertile ground in all of Eastern Europe. Our class is very, very case study centric. The school for the last decade has, and in the last few years actually, has gotten a very good relationship with Harvard Business School Publishing. And so we make an effort to use Harvard case studies, which are generally the content is a lot of rich content, and it makes very interesting. We do a lot of case studies and group work case study. There's a few individual projects, but for the most part, and the classes are participatory. So I don't really lecture for too long. This is probably the longest I've ever spoken without asking a question. So let me start. What would you like to learn in your MBA? What would you like to get out of it? Yeah. And I think you're going to like it when Igor talks. Okay, good. Good. I care a lot about that too. I'm part of the school community here. I'm just helped in an article with somebody about regulation and fintech regulation at the EU level, and is it helping or hurting Latvia fintechs, which is kind of in that space. You were not skewing towards fintech, but tech in general, right? It's more and more regulated, especially with the AI Act. Which probably, again, Igor probably tell you a lot more about that than I tell you about it. What do you want to get out of this? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm not actually from Latvia, so I've worked in the United States a long time. I've worked in Europe a long time. I was GE Moneybank's mortgage leader for Central and Eastern Europe, and I was the chairman of the Supervisory Council of GE Moneybank Latvia. And then I went to Saudi Arabia and did a Deutsche Bank joint venture with Araji Bank, doing things there a while ago. So I agree with you. I'm in the same space. I'm kind of curious about everything everywhere. Good. I think you'll be introduced to it here. Our studies, we actually, like I said, we source most of the case studies from Harvard, which is usually pretty good about being global. What are you here for? I think you'll find that you won't be the oldest one in the studies. That your discovery is similar to a lot of other people's discovery, and lifelong learning is probably something we almost expect, and we certainly service it. And somebody really helps with lifelong learning is going to speak to you tonight too. Uh, and I ranted and raved at her for about 45 minutes earlier today about the next thing we should introduce to people. So that totally support that. And I think that just the nature of the way studies work here, you'll find that you're very well supported here. So, what are you here for? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, again, that's because I think what you're going to find here is there's an approach, and the world is look. When you get older and older, you know what happens? The world travels faster and faster and faster and faster and faster, and the world clearly is traveling faster and faster and faster. Change is happening very fast, um, but with the right tools, you wind up figuring out how to stay on them. There's some basic principles and fundamentals, and if you're pretty strong in them, you can apply them almost almost in any situation. And you can and again, I agree. What I was hearing about myself when he was speaking is I always thought I'm behind the curve too. I'm the slowest learner I know. And I think whenever I learn new things, whenever I cross a new milestone, I realize how much I didn't know, and it scares me. Because oh my God, I don't even know how I crossed the street back then. Now, so yeah, it's going to, and this is a good place to actually. I think you'll satisfy that curiosity. It's a good place for that curiosity. What are you here for? Oh, You know, it's a great thing to learn too is developing a relationship with achievement. So when you're all alone like that, it's it's important to recognize when you've actually found a milestone and crossed a milestone. So good. I think the entrepreneurial exercises here are excellent across almost all the classes. I would guess. So I think you'll find kindred souls, and I think you'll find a lot of content that addresses what you're into. What are you here for? Mm-hmm. You know, and businesses, strategy and execution, right? Planning and execution, and theory's part of it. Practice is part of it, though, and case studies. And I would say, I'm always impressed with the Harvard case studies because you actually wind up having to apply theory to real problems. Harvard doesn't have case studies that somebody made up. They actually have real challenges people had to solve. So I'm going to leave. My class starts now, and I have a guest speaker that I have to get here too. Uh, any questions? You're all invited to my class. It's going to go till 9:15. Yeah. Why should you choose RBS versus SSE or some other school? RBS, I think what you're going to get out of RBS, you'll leave here with relationships that you'll keep your entire professional career, maybe your whole life. I think you'll leave here with a confidence in problem solving skills. I think RBS has tried very hard and does try very hard because, you know, in the 1990s, Ford Motor Company, which had been the second biggest motor company behind General Motors for years, Ford's whole branding was Ford, we're number two, so we try harder. And I think that that's always been true of RBS. We got here after SSE. We had less perpetual support than SSE, and we've always tried harder than SSE. Oh, yeah. Okay, so that's it. And I look, I've sent somebody when I'm running the enterprise fund and other businesses, I've sent people to both programs. And I say this with total confidence as the employer and sponsor, and you can ask him about that too. With total, he used to run Deloitte here forever. Um, the quality of education and the improvement in your employee, their confidence, their skill set, and everything else that they bring to the office every day. There's not a difference. You know, there's I'm not going to degrade anybody. I won't do that. But anyway, you're all welcome to room 117 when you guys break. Okay. So good luck, and good luck with your decision.
Thank you very much. There. Round of applause. Have you noticed how many people entered the door while we were talking here for 10-15 minutes? It's summer, July. You know? Many people think we are on vacations, all of us, in education. But indeed, here we see dynamics and new life and so many small and bigger achievements every day. So we are here, we are working, and today I see how busy these premises are, and I will tell you about all our, not all, but many news we have now, and a lot about programs. And today we are here as a team of colleagues who are ready to share their stories with you. Yes. So MBA program indeed is the only in Latvia as a Master of Business Administration for 34 years now. there are analogs and similarities. Today, one of the bright minds came for interview for MBA and told us that made ChatGPT investigation about MBA programs in Latvia with many prompts. And the reason why he's here, because in ChatGPT told that this is the best value for money here, as for knowledge and experience and network. So here we are, established by University of Buffalo and University of Ottawa, Canada and US and Canada, many years ago, still here with all the international accreditation we wanted so far and applying for more. Over the years, as you see, development trend, we have started MBA program, but there are so many other things now in RBS, RTU, RBS, Riga Business School that are growing and advancing. And as you see, 2024 is the last year on this slide, but now we are in year 2025. And this picture drawing was made a while ago when we were started thinking of relocation, and here we are today. It's our first month in new premises, still a lot of renovation around us. So we are now here, but starting from September, we plan to do a lot around in this building. And when you come to new premises, there are also many things coming together. So it's challenge and opportunity for us at the same time. And here we are, we continue development and progressing. Here, the basics, the main information about MBA program was for those who doesn't know much. Today we're ready to answer all the questions. But to start with, the program language is in English. That's why we talk today in English, and our classes are in English, and literature, everything. So the requirement of the program, the content of the program is 9 core courses and 6 electives. Master thesis. That's master program, is diploma. And what we talk here today, we already heard it today. We do a lot of case studies, practical application. Many of our students have already bachelor degrees, all of them. Some already have master and its second master degree. So why people are here, why they want to there are many reasons to be here indeed, career development, new knowledge, systematization of knowledge. Some people just want to have fun, but it's also the reason to be here because it's student growing network. And here we talk about Harvard case studies, we talk about top school studies, and also we have our projects contributing, we have RBS implemented projects contributing to the content of the programs. Faculty comes from all over the world. Of course, we talk more about local expertise, but here we have a lot of injection of international experience and academia and industry specialists, experts, and professionals. You see the last thing on this slide in gold or yellow, 8 average grade. That's the requirement of Riga Business School, that by the end of the program, the average grade for the courses is 8. You can have 6, you can have 10, you can have 7 and 9, but on average, we talk about 8, and it's not about grades only, like maybe in secondary school for some pupils, but here it correlates with the quality of education. So if students pass all the subjects with 4, even all subjects on the list, it's not possible to graduate. So the main idea is here to absorb the knowledge, to apply the knowledge, and to show that you can prove it. Any questions so far, maybe? I will continue. Last open day was 3 hours instead of 1. So many questions we had. So we'll see how it goes today. Application process. Application deadline this year is August 7th. So we still have 1.5 weeks to go. And admission decisions, final admission decisions, we will make by August 15th. Semester we start on September 8th with the welcome events. It was approved today, 4th of September evening. What do we need for application? To make an application for the program is passport copy, like ID. That's not really a requirement, but document to submit. We ask for 2 years, at least 2 years of work experience. So the next thing to submit is curriculum vitae, so that we see the professional, the career path, and diploma of undergraduate bachelor studies, even if it's second master. We ask for the documents of previous degree with a statement with the grades. Yes, it's important to say, because sometimes we get the documents of previous degree, but I mean the last one, but we need the level before master diploma to see. Of course, you can always add more documents attached, but this is the first filter to check. Next thing is English proficiency, proof of English proficiency. For those who have already education in English, there is no need to submit the proof. It's enough with a diploma, we can see. A bachelor or master, it doesn't matter. For those who doesn't have the proof, we have an opportunity we provide the test to pass. And what we are looking for is, if you understand from ABC letters, in language proficiency, then it's B2+ that we want to see in the documents. Sometimes we have situations with B plus minus, so the next step after document processing, document eligibility, and eligibility criteria is interview for every potential candidate. The obligatory part of admission process is interview with us. When students make the decision about future studies, usually we receive and we get very similar questions. So we already know top 3, top 5, top 10 questions we get. Therefore, I can tell you about the major concerns of students, potential students and students in the program that we are asked about. First of it, it's format of studies. How do we study? How the study process is organized? The answer is that we offer courses from Monday to Thursday. Every week we have 3 trimesters, not 2 semesters, but 3 trimesters. Autumn, that starts from September to December. Spring, that starts in January to May, beginning of May. And summer starts May 2nd week to beginning of August. Each of these blocks is 14 weeks. Each of the courses is 14 weeks. So in each trimester, there is a selection of courses to take, or an elective, depends on the group, and electives are to choose for all. What it practically means that students can, it's advised and chosen on average 2 courses per trimester. That is the same as telling 2 evenings per week. So 1 course, 1 day per week. Is it clear so far? Yes? So if you choose 3 courses, it's 3 weeks. If 1 course, if something happens, it's 1 day a week. But on average, we talk about 2 courses, 2 evenings. The next, we have breaks in every 14 weeks. We have 7 weeks on average, sometimes a bit different from 6, 8, but on average, standard case, 7 weeks, 1 week break, 7 weeks. In between the trimesters, there are longer breaks and another block of 14. Next question that we always answer is what to do if students cannot attend one or another class. Whatever happens and you cannot come, what happens next? Our main goal is for students not to skip the content, so not to lag behind. So what we do, we make the recordings of all classes, like I do today. So all our professors have microphones, like this. And it's video recording, it's audio recording, and next day, in ideal case, sometimes with exceptions, the recording of the lecture has to be on a study platform. And those who haven't been for the class can listen and see at home. The same if something was, for example, very comprehensive and you want to listen again and again. Well, it takes time for some people to understand this or another topic. So this is also the tool for those who had some issues with content. They can, again, listen and understand. And those who haven't been, they get the whole lecture recorded. Next one is study fees and payments. Again, here we do not charge students for the whole year or semester or what are other approaches, but the main idea here is that students pay per courses. So depending on the choice, so if we speak 1 course, this year it will be 850, starting September, 850. If there are 2 courses, it's 850 multiplied by 2, by 3, depends on the number of courses. That also helps a lot. I forgot to tell about format of the studies that we do not study on Fridays. So we offer the courses from Monday to Thursday, and we understand that Friday, Saturday, Sunday is not for study, so maybe some homeworks, but we do not have classes in school. For study fees, if there are any difficulties with payments for current students, we use also state guaranteed loans without mortgage, right? Yes, and that also has very friendly offer and solution for the students. Yeah, I will now maybe some questions. Yet, so the idea of today is to show you a glimpse of what we are doing content-wise in the program. Of course, we cannot do much in 1 hour, but we will try as much as possible. So first core subject for the autumn, for the next group who will start in the autumn, that will start in the autumn, is financial accounting. That's accounting, right? So everyone understands. But that's where we start with the analysis and understanding of numbers. Professor Edgar Volskis is not today here. He's on vacation this week. But I would like to tell more about Professor and not to skip this part. This is, as we always tell, and it's absolutely true, all our professors come from industry. Also, in case of Professor Volskis, he has more than 25 years already in financial accounting, investigations, international initiatives, and has doctoral degree. And also, as Professor came from the industry, he doesn't have pedagogical education. He spent 4 months in University of Buffalo studying the everything that relates to the better teaching and transfer of knowledge. After this, as he tells himself, when he came to Buffalo, his course description was 3-4 pages, and when he left it was 20 pages, and he devotes the whole first lecture talking about requirements of the course, competences you get, knowledge you get, and accounting exists for 500 years. It's nothing new, maybe more. So we do not teach here something that didn't exist before. So when people come, it's not yet there. But what we definitely see is that there are a number of developments also there. Yes, that's when some students see statements, they get scared a bit, you know. Not everyone is good in numbers, but what professor insists of, that numbers do not lie. So after 14 weeks of this course, people learn how to read numbers, how to understand numbers, how to analyze numbers statements, and understand what it means. That's still the slide from the course of financial accounting. As we now talk a lot about AI, in artificial intelligence, one of the questions is whether we will be replaceable or not. And there is a discussion, of course, pros and cons. But what we do next, and our professor is here, Igor Rodin, who teach, the course is Artificial Intelligence and Strategy. It's part of the story answering the question. So I will give.
Thank you, Nadia. Thank you. Good to see you here. Good decision to come. And spend here the rainy evening with us. So as an introduction, my name is Igor Rodin. I spent 35 years in consulting, including 30 years with one firm, as Bill has suggested, at Deloitte. And my role at Deloitte was, my last role was leading Deloitte Artificial Intelligence Studio for Europe. So we have built the kind of virtual hub that was responsible for implementing AI at some of the Europe's largest companies. Actually, only at the largest companies, as a kind of few companies could afford to use us. But the point is that I suppose the benefit might have even less kind of academical experience that Professor Volsky, but I suppose one of my benefits is that I can bring you the best international practices in artificial intelligence. So that's my role, to kind of be able to pass my knowledge of what's going on, what's current, how it's work, how it's get implemented to my students. Not on a technical level. It's not a mathematics course. It's about practical application and the decisions that business leaders have to make. Actually, the course with no single formula. It's actually a pretty complex course, but no single mathematical formula. Actually, I do teach mathematics, much mathematical course at another university, but not here. So that's the point number one. So you really get the best international experience in artificial intelligence. The point number two is, as Bill has mentioned, Nelia has mentioned, we use Harvard Business School cases. I actually using also, in addition to Harvard Business School, I use a number of my cases. And also when it comes to Harvard business cases on artificial intelligence, actually I replace the cases which I teach every year to be current, because there's so much happening on in AI. And it's actually quite a significant toll for me to prepare those cases. And actually what is more important is actually all the cases, Harvard cases that I select. And I had the benefit because I worked in many countries and in many industries. I select only those cases either with the companies that I personally knew or with AI products that I have personally implemented, or actually talking about the people who I also know personally. So actually, and I think it's important because I've been also at Harvard Business School, and one of the beauty of they teaching their own cases is actually professors know personally all the settings, all the context, they know what happened before the case, and actually they all know what happened with those participants after the case. And some of those insights I also able to bring to my students. So these cases, they are not only important from pedagogical perspective, but actually I bring a lot of my kind of personal experience and personal touch in those cases. And actually, in addition to those kind of cases, I try to bring some of the experts in the field. For example, in my last course, which was finished just a few weeks ago, we brought as guest speaker the chief data scientists for a company Giraffes 360, which is probably one of the most exciting Latvian companies that does artificial intelligence and works internationally. But again, so we typically look at those companies and those Latvian entrepreneurs in the area for AI that are recognized internationally. Yeah, so these are the type of things just to bring you the real current thinking on AI, what's going on, the best of AI. And also what I would like maybe to mention that in my AI course, you are absolutely kind of welcome to use AI as much as you want. It wouldn't help you, actually, it wouldn't do, it's necessary for you to use AI, but it wouldn't make actually my course easier for you. I can't promise, because also I raised the bar. So you have to be more clever than GPT when you are kind of at my course. But we're doing actually some of the cool stuff. For example, what we do for our students, we create digital personas of people. So we create basically digital twins for my students. Not everyone is actually willing to participate. Some of students are extremely happy to create their own digital twins. So basically we download all your personal experience, your feelings, many hours of interviews, and then we use those digital twins, for example, for product design. So we work with companies like whatever, Madara Cosmetics and some other to develop, for example, their products for their customers, for their consumers. And the beauty is that you can test those products, their brand messaging, you can test the advertising concepts in basically 0 seconds. In a few milliseconds, you get the response because you have those digital personas of their customers. So we do some of those really cool stuff. And that's what all students are kind of part of those kind of experiments, which of course involve themselves, but no one is harmed as part of this process, maybe a little bit psychologically, but otherwise it's actually great fun. And I think actually some of the products, some of the advertising that we create for Latvian companies is actually better than what they do themselves. That's my personal opinion, but we kind of enjoy the process throughout. So what else? So you were asking about international experience, you were asking about technology. Did I answer did I give you some clue about this kind of technology part you want? About international kind of angle, is it answering does it? Any other questions? I'm so excited about AI and what I do and how we kind of trying to change the course every year and kind of develop it and make it fun and actually quite sophisticated. Yes, please. No, what we're trying to do, actually, no, we are pretty narrow focused, and I can explain. My concept is that there are so many things you can do AI, right? And my course is about AI and strategy. So we are learning how to use AI for the single managerial task, crafting strategy, which is actually, I think, happens the most difficult one. So that's the fun, because we don't absolutely kind of don't do pictures, except that, for example, brand messaging, or for example, LinkedIn posts or Facebook posts or advertising. But those are strategic communications, and we don't do anything else with AI. Yes, only those developing strategy. But we kind of, it's a very complex stuff. Yeah. In terms of AI tools and technologies, we are trying to be technology agnostic. So it's not about writing prompts. It's about human with machine. It's about, actually, it would probably work exactly the same. I'm actually free to allow my students to use any models. We do comparisons, so we see which models do work best. For example, which module kind of technologies work best on your computers, which work for kind of, for example, through the internet. But otherwise, it's actually not linked to a specific technology. It's about your way of working. You're getting the kind of synergy working together with the machine. Yeah, I think that's what I'm trying to basically to get out of this course. Not some technological tools, not just creating some prompts, which probably going to be redundant in 1 year. I'm trying to see how we can make work, basically augment our intelligence with the help of the machine that will help you in the kind of number of years to come. That's the objective. Let's see how I kind of successful in this objective, but that's how we work, and that's how the course is designed. Did I answer your question? Nelly, I probably overshoot my time. Apologies. Thank you.
You- and thank you very much. Yeah, there are so many aspects we can teach in 2 years, 2.5 years. It's always a choice. Here, that we talk long-term and sustainable education. What else do we do when I tell finance, and then we say AI and finance, and now I'm talking about technology and finance? As I showed you the development of RBS, you definitely saw many circles with many things adding to the content and to our operations. And one of it, there are several mega projects here implemented by Riga Business School. And one of these, we even call Baltic Finance Center, so massive it is, that I will give the floor to Lel de Kiop to tell about these projects and contribution to the program.
Thank you. Hello, everyone, for coming despite the weather. It's very nice to see you here. So as Nelia very nicely introduced me, I'm Lelda. I work at the RBS Baltic Finance Center, and I'll tell you a bit about the new legislation that's available for RBS MBA students and how we actually got to this point. So what we offer and what you need to do to receive this specialization is take a great set of 3 courses, where in the first 2 courses you learn about the fundamentals. So in the first one, you understand, okay, what actually is fintech, what's happening in the field, what are the business models, how the companies work. A lot of learning about the industry. And you come out of this course with your own idea, your own fintech business idea. Then we have the second course, where you learn about fintech regulation. So first, it's understanding what regulation actually is, what's the purpose of it, and then how it works in fintech specifically. And the goal there is to take that fintech business idea that you have and validate it, understand if it's actually sustainable, and also how you can potentially upgrade it by understanding regulation, because it opens up opportunities for you as well. And then you move on to the third course, where you take that validated business idea, you work on it, and you develop your product to come out of the course with a working prototype of your fintech business idea. So here are some topics and themes that you would learn about in each of the courses. Of course, if you just want to dip your toe, or if your background is in law, it's also possible to take one of those courses. But the prerequisite for the third course is that you take either the first one or the second one to understand the basics. And then while you can check out the different course topics that you would learn about in these courses, I'll talk a bit more about what's actually the exciting part of these courses. So you heard a lot about case studies today. We do that as well. So tons of different case studies about what's happening in tech here and in US and in the world, so you can learn about the successes and failures of existing companies, understand how to not make those same mistakes, or how it could actually work here, even though it didn't work somewhere else. And what we did with these courses, both with this basic idea of the set of 3 courses, and with each of these topics, is we went to the industry and we talked to them. So what is it that you actually think students should learn? What are the skills? What's the theory that students should learn? Talk to them, and even now, after the first idea or the first version of these courses went, we learned from student reviews, and we go back to the industry and other stakeholders to talk to, associations. We talk to Latvijas Banka and others to each time upgrade the content learned to you, teach to you, to make sure that what you're learning is actually what's happening right now, because it's a very fast-paced industry. Then the leads of these courses are actually C-level executives at Latvian fintech companies, which means that you get to learn directly from them. I think that's pretty exciting. And we also bring other industry experts to you in these classes. So last semester, we started a fintech close-up series where we had, for example, Mobily and Mintis, so high-level people talking about what it's actually like to develop fintech in Latvia, what are the challenges they encountered, what are the success stories, and little maybe tips and tricks that are unique to their stories. So it's not just a set of 3 courses or a course that you can take. You can actually jump in and get a lot more out of it. Get to meet all these great industry experience learning these courses. Yeah, I think that's the main thing. Okay, if you'll have any questions, I'll be here. And I'm actually also a student here. I'm also studying in the MBA program, so I can also answer some questions from the student perspective. Okay, thanks.
I think this is also the moment to tell about specializations. Fintech is new specialization in the program. MBA, you can go general specialization as management track, but there are also opportunities to go finance or marketing or IT specializations and fintech specialization. If students do not know in the beginning what specialization to take, not to take, they go general track, they can choose any courses that they like from elective part. And if at the end of the study program we see that it's already enough from this selection for specialization, we still can assign the specialization to the student, and it will be written in the diploma. And now, as we are now deep in technologies and finance, we also want to show you another part of the study process here that I call human. So we talk here a lot about human resource management, leadership, career developments, and also our colleague is here, Director of Executive Education Programs and Professor of Power and Influence course in MBA. So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Nice to see you all. You are smart people because you're here. You're deciding to go for MBA. And when you were asked, why do you want MBA? Nobody said, I want power and influence. And it's interesting why. So it's still, I believe it's still stigmatized. So, but before I tell about a few words about my course, a little bit about myself. So I'm just director of non-degree programs, executive education. That means I develop shorter programs for alumni or open public, just on hot topics, on interesting topics which are needed and in lifelong learning, exactly as Bill was saying. I'm product of this school, so oops, yeah, it's still quick. I'm product of this school. I am MBA from here, cum laude. That means with excellence many, many years ago. And I'm teaching here for more than 20 years. But meanwhile, I was being in industry because always I was very independent. And independent does not necessarily mean opinions. I'm opinionated too, but I wanted to earn money. And I was in industry earning money, but at the same time teaching all this time. And I started with service industry, just with early, mid 90s developing capital markets and the bank. And then I switched to alcohol business. So, and I was in long 10 years in stigmatized alcohol business. And then I changed again and applied for the tender for the opera and ballet and was for 10 years member of opera ballet, 3 terms. And I'm believer that in high position, you should change every 10 years. Normally in business that happens. In public sector, it doesn't happen that way. And I just, after 3 times I stepped down, I said, that's enough. So, because, you know, you need rotation and you need new blood in this. And so that's about me. But before now I tell about my course, I answer your question, why RBS? And so RBS, you were told that it's a lot of cases and interactive learning. And so here is that what it says, that direct knowledge transfer is the most efficient and least effective method of learning. You know what is effective and efficient, right? Just tell me, just in your own words, what is effective and what is efficient. Just, it's, you know, if you talk about operation efficiency, not always, but still, yes. So, and what is with effective? Achieves goals. Yes, so you have to achieve goal. What does it mean? Direct knowledge transfer is lecturing. And lecturing means that what I know just by standing here is magically transferred to you. And it doesn't happen that way. It simply doesn't happen. So if it would happen, it would be the most efficient way to learn. But it doesn't happen that way. And that's why you need effective way. And interactive means, like in this pyramid, percentages might differ in different approaches to this. But basically, lecturing is less remembered. 1 year in, another year out. And just reading audiovisual, discussion and practice. And we have a lot of discussion and practice here. And I think academicians don't like me for that, but I said if you can't apply theory in practice, this theory is no value. There is academical education where it's a little bit different, but this is professional education. And teaching others is the best way to learn. So when you can, when in simple terms you can explain to other people how to do it, this is just the top. And actually, you are in the courses, you will have to do it. Also, that do the presentation and present yourself. So, yeah, I just, this already was taken, that there are cases I don't repeat. I use Harvard cases, I use my own cases, I update cases. A little bit contrast to Igor. In power and influence cases, the cases are, the technology or the topic is not changing that much. So there are some cases which are quite historical, but brilliant cases. In technology, you can't do this. Every 2 years is something new. And so again, so you are involved, and when you yourself, through discussion, come to the solution, then you remember this. So then you remember, and then you know how to apply. And one thing I also always tell, and I think you don't believe, but I repeat every time I stand here, that when you finish MBA, you will be a different person, because it's a transformational process. And why you will be a different person? Because you will have more self-confidence, obviously, no question about it. And if you want knowledge in one very specific area, like for example, being Chief Financial Analyst, CFA, which is international chartered courses, or Chief Marketing Specialist, which are also chief, not chartered, because it's from England, chartered marketing specialist. So then you don't need MBA. But MBA gives you this big range of knowledge which settles you very, very confident in the business. So just you feel differently. And as it says here, knowledge is lowest impact and lowest difficulty. Basically, go to Coursera, read books at home. You don't need, for knowledge, simply reading books, coming here. More difficult is skills, which we talked a lot, practical application and all this stuff, what is needed, what will be here, and attitude. And attitude, I repeat again this every time, but still it's true, because you are hired for knowledge and fired for attitude. And so attitude changes during this transformational process. So this about learning, and now about power. And as I mentioned, nobody of you said that you want power. Just going to MBA, but actually you should. Oops, yeah. I didn't do anything, magic. But you need power. You need power to be CEO. You need power to be independent. You need power to do a lot of stuff in life. However, it's stigmatized. And there is this old, which attributed to Bismarck, that you don't know how sausages are made and how law is done. So and so on and so on. If you believe that you don't need power, then you come in this area of just world fallacy, which means when I'm good, I will be noticed and promoted. And this is not how it happens. This is not how it happens, because we have performance context of and contextual performance, which we will learn in the course. And then we just get offended that we are not noticed and not promoted, and that it comes into a vicious circle. So we, again, a famous saying says that power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely, because it basically saying that power gets into your head sooner or later. And maybe there is some truth. That's why I said every 10 years, high position people should be changed. So it's just to have a more independent view. But weakness tends to corrupt, and impotence corrupts absolutely. If you feel helpless, you feel very, very bad. You will never be happy when you're helpless. So you need power, not just in work, you need power for your life. So in course, I will just not go into detail. We will learn that I will actually convince you in the first class that there are no objective facts. So, and we will talk about organization as human, because we try to think that they are rational, but actually we have failings And we have to learn how to live in the companies with human failings. And so we learn about allocation of scarce resources, which means that we more often than cooperate, we compete. And not undermining the role of cooperation, but there is a thin line from cooperation to competition. And just you have to learn, because resources are always limited. Budget, time, what else? Information, yes, of course. And for that, you need to learn how to negotiate, how to make coalitions, how to use exchange currencies, which we'll talk in the course. And this is just as an interesting fact, again, from the course, that if we start from total dictatorship, which we would want to believe does not exist, but exists even in business more than we would like it to accept, and just asking why, just quite often this dictator or total authority position in the company comes out of fear. Comes out of fear because if I'm not controlling everything, maybe I'm not that much used or just not so much needed. And of course, it also comes in the situations of the startups when just one person or orchestra, and when you start hierarchy, delegation is very complicated problem. And then moving to consultation, when you start already using the advice of people around you. And what is interesting about that asking advice or asking for help is basically flattering. And flattery is one very strong instrument of influence. So that's the next stage, how with power, I move to more influence. And then participation, this is all this school and everything about, because when you participate, you are part of something and you are responsible. Those who have dealt with any size of project in the company know that if you don't get the participation of people with the project, no way, simply no way. So that's the participation in key in many complex issues. But then again, you have to know the interests, you have to combine agendas, personal interests, corporate interests, and so on. And then the delegation, when you really feel on par, and I can say, yes, I have this high position, but you are totally independent, a capable person who can act on your own. Because quite often in business, we find what I call semiconductors. And semiconductors means that this person has authority, it has the right to say no, but in order to say yes, he has to go to the higher boss. So in short, power is very important, power and influence, and it's not just your work, it's for your independent and for you feeling happy in life. Because happiness is much broader than just your work life and achievement. Work life is just part of it. Life is much, much broader. Okay, so thank you. I think I managed in time. Any questions? No bossing or bossing? It's not the majority model. In some technological companies, it works, and it's another example, a relatively good example in law firms. Because when you reach the partner level on the law firms, then you are on the same stage, you are a team. But in majority of the companies, this is not really working. But it's in technology, yes, this is another that we have totally flat organization, but in 90% of organizations, it's not flat. It's pyramid. And top are very few people, and competition is very big for this top people. So it's, as a concept, again, for startups, yeah, and generally for companies which are starting, because everybody is doing everything. So, and then after some period, hierarchy starts to form out when the company grows. And this is usually the problem quite often with a company. Questions? Yeah? Oh. You look, again, you look rationally from it. You look like it would be economics. Where just, economics, when you have the equilibrium, it's just the two slopes. In life, it doesn't work that way. And in life, you just, again, I can tell about myself. When I moved from alcohol to opera, I basically was moving, which was my hobby. And what I said when I applied for the tender, because they finally decided there should be business people on the board and formed the board because opera was about to be bankrupt. So I said that, as you know, in Daniel, not Kahneman, but Goldman, coined the phrase 10,000 hours. 10,000, yeah, 10,000 hours. And if you spend 10,000 hours on something, you become expert in it. And 10,000 hours, if you just calculate by 8 hours, it roughly are 3 to 5 years, depending on how many days you count, which is basically studying. So I said that on side, I did this. Coming back to your question, you really have to ask yourself how I feel. And am I losing integrity at my work? Losing integrity means I hate what I'm doing. I hate what is around. I don't mean I can't see sense in it. And when it's happening, then you move on to what is. And trying is always better than feeling sorry that you never tried. Because there is this fear that, oh, nobody will hire me. Oh, I will not get a new job. It's not true. This is not true. This is only in the head. Questions? Okay. Oh, forgot.
Yes, some of you came a bit later. You haven't heard the whole story. If there are no more questions, there is an opportunity to stay here longer and ask individual questions. Not everyone wants to speak public. Here we are with the coffee, and all of us are here. Another option is to join the class. And third option is, of course, to be free for tonight. So now I think I better ask, do we have something on online questions? Okay. So if we do not have more questions, it's my third time I'm telling it, then we can move to informal part of the evening and talk. Small talks. That's what we like. Okay? So thank you very much then for this session. And that's it. Thank you very much.